It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast. Today's Legion Baseball Talk. Got some good stuff for you today. Joining me on in the studio, I should say, not on it, in it, right? We're in the studio, right, Russ?
I think so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Is one of the state commissioners, Russ Klicker, used to, and I think you stepped down from that role, but you're still part of the Post 312 program, yes?
I am, yeah, and I did.
But you stepped down from the director role, correct?
I had to rearrange some of my stuff priority-wise. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk to us. Who's just real quick? I know this is kind of off the cuff a little bit, but who's over there running that program now, bud?
Ryan Brown, still playing baseball, played college ball. Really good guy. We've got Brandon Baker over there. We got Trey Harwick over there. We've got Greg Metlock over there. Am I missing anyone? I think that pretty much sums it up. But it's a good group of folks, and they've got some skills that I didn't have. So it's a good thing. They're taking over and moving it forward.
It's good. You know, you've been doing this a long time, but it's good to have some of these younger guys coming in and continuing to keep these programs moving, right?
Oh, you got to have it. You got to have you can't just get stale with older guys, and as much as we want to hang on to things, but we've got to pass stuff along to the younger guys. And I'll be honest with you, I am super impressed with these folks.
Yeah. Well, but at some point, and that's why, you're still there. You stay in touch. I'm sure, taking on more of a mentorship role, right?
Exactly.
And that's what I think. Brandon, right?
Yes.
I've reached out to him. We're gonna get him on the show before too long. I know we've made contact with him already. And you had I'm trying to remember the young man's name. Broad. Oh gosh, he was at the Scout Day, the Legion Scout Day. Hunter Broad, I think. St. Charles. He's a St. Charles kid, Post 312.
Yeah.
He showed big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I got it now. I was thinking
a
Brody
younger kid.
Yeah.
He showed very well. He was in the top 5 in a couple different categories.
Yeah.
Good young ball player.
Well, when we were planning that, we had some discussions like offline, and there were a lot of there was a lot of skepticism about, what's the quality going to look like? How are we going to rack up against the rest of the state and all that? It really turned out pretty good.
I thought so.
And we had Sheldon Dean there, and some others. And I mean,
Eli Anderson and Charlie Morgan.
Charlie Morgan, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and there was other guys, just off the top of my head. We're getting ready to, it's coming out on the social media side. We're going to put out, we're getting ready to post the top prospects there from the deal. It's going to start rolling out, so be looking forward to that as we head in towards high school season, on the winter workout tour. This is stuff we like to do, Youth Baseball Midwest, because we want to highlight the players, right?
Exactly.
That's what's – and then high school baseball, then you can follow the kids into the summer. It's just a fun thing to do.
Well, with 90-plus teams across the state, 250-some coaches, and all their teams and ball players, across the state, we honestly didn't know what we had. I mean, we heard good things about player here, player there.
Right.
But we didn't know what we had. So we were pleasantly surprised to see how that Scout Day went off.
And there was a lot of kids there.
There were.
They showed up
and
for
they came from all the way across the state.
Yeah, and it's like, we just did the feature on Sheldon Dean, and Russ had got that together for us. And He slept in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drove over
That's
overnight.
old school.
I mean, you got to do it.
I used to do that when I was a kid and just got my driver's license and I wanted to go fishing. I wanted to go up to Michigan. I didn't have, 2 nickels to rub together. And it was car, man. I ate my meals out of a gas station and I slept in the car. And that's how we did it. But not too many folks do that these days.
No, man. Got to have the RV and the...
Oh, you got to have all that. Yeah, it's got to be the comforts of Home Plus. Yeah.
Oh, mercy. So there's been some movement. Let's start here. You've been a commissioner since we've been working with Legion Baseball. But Tom told me, and he expressed to me, Kent Getsy's coming on. We'll just do that. Kent Getsy. We got Connor Spinagle over there. Scott Blackwell's coming on. Scott's not new to it, but as a commissioner, yes. 3 new there, and I'm missing one, aren't I?
You're Jason Howard.
Jason Howard. Duh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jason, we appreciate. He was supposed to be on today. He had to work. So Russ, I got to say thank you to Russ because he was gracious, swapped his schedule, and came in today. So we appreciate that.
I was sitting around waiting for a call, hoping I'd get called up, and my phone rang, and I was like, all right, big time. I'm coming over. I'm on my way.
Oh, mercy. But
now, I don't know. Maybe I'll get in trouble for letting the air out of Jason's tires today. I don't know. We'll see it. Hopefully he won't figure that out.
We won't tell.
We won't tell.
Oh, man. So, new commissioners. When I was talking about, you're kind of taking on a new role in the commission. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, a couple of years ago, maybe as far back as 3 years ago, we had to take a serious look at where American Legion Baseball was headed and where we were.
Yeah.
This is our 100th year in existence, all across the country, and it's a big deal. But I don't know if we've ever sat down. We've probably never had, American Legion Baseball has probably never had the reason to sit down and do like a business case, like a SWOT, you do you look at your threats and your competition and all that stuff.
Right.
And we sat down and did that. We went through the whole thing. And said, and there were several gaps. Clubs are doing things that we're not doing. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of clubs. We count over 70 in our area. And I know there's more than that, and that have high school players. So, we were talking about how many bites the apple can this thing take.
Yeah, we were just
but as a result of that, we formulated, Tom Rhodes and I sat down and we scratched out a plan. And Tom, I'm telling you, as far as leading this whole thing, state chairman, he gets it. Mm-hmm. He's a smart guy. Mm-hmm. And he understands that baseball changes like everything else. And American Legion has just kind of sat back and resisted change. Well, we're in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
And getting back to your question.
No, that's all right.
That's what's driving a lot of these changes is the organization has to now be adjusted because the work scope has changed.
Yeah.
We're doing things now that we've never done or we've done very little of or haven't done very well.
Right.
And we're working on all that.
And one of the things that you took on recently and just happened this past Sunday was the coaches clinic. How'd that go?
It went really well. I'm not sure if I can remember actually what created the idea to do it. I think overall there was a realization that, we've got, like I said, 250 some coaches across the state. And those coaches are in the frontline trenches and they're developing players, they're interfacing, they're teaching and doing all that. So when you see players that get to the college level and they lack certain skills, they don't understand certain things, right. Those coaches are really important for doing that. So with the American Legion brand, it's important that we put out the best coaches that we can, and we have to get behind them and support them. So we've got a huge initiative this year and it started with the coaches clinic at St. Louis University, and Coach Darren Hendrickson was fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, interacting with the kids, demonstrating with the coaches. Some of them are my age, so
some are kids.
Some are kids, yeah. But it was really, really good. And we're looking at, okay, now what's the next phase?
Right.
Because I mean, we're just touching a small percentage of them so far, and we got to roll this thing out.
Yeah. And I think it's key, because here's the thing. I know some are opting, and I think it's a good thing. I think people have to make decisions based on what works best for their program at this point, their club. Because you have coaches that still volunteer. It's a dad. It's somebody like that. And I think dad coaches, it's the backbone of youth baseball. From 9 to 14, it's dad coaches still. And you still have in Legion Ball, and you even still have some of that it's all club baseball, but just in the other side of it that isn't Legion. To me, these are the things that have to be talked about and brought to bear, helping these coaches, helping these dads. Some have more experience than others. Some are just they want to be part of it, want to help, want to do, and don't have as much information. How do you help them move those kids forward? What is that process? And I don't even think personally some of the clubs that I've seen in St. Louis, Legion included, have done probably as good a job as we need to help these dad coaches continue to grow and help these kids learn.
Yeah, when we see players at the college level, at the next level, JUCO, whatever, when we see those players and they're not brought up to the appropriate things that they ought to know, we got ourselves to blame. It's our generation.
Absolutely.
We're responsible for that.
Yeah,
and I feel that responsibility.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a big task.
It is a big task, and because you're involved in the Metro League, the team, the American Legion Metro League team. So and it's true. We talk to a lot of high school coaches, the kids that are coming up, and they get to high school and they don't know what a cutoff is. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to position themselves. If you're going to stand and watch, you might as well buy a ticket and go get in the stands.
Absolutely. They need to develop their instincts. They need to trust their instincts. And the older they get, the harder it is to teach them.
Yes.
I mean, it's the earlier years, that those formative years, that are more important. So all of the dad coaches, and I know a lot of clubs, I can't tell you one other baseball organization, club, whatever you want to call them, that doesn't have dad coaches.
Right.
Because you just cannot get, if you've got 10 or 15 teams, you're not going to get, former college and pro ball players to come coach. It's too much. It's too expensive. It just doesn't happen. So you have to get into that pool.
Right.
And then when you get into that pool, you can't just let them swim around on their own. You got to get out there and help them. And that's what we're doing.
I got to ask you, because we've talked about this, and, if you want to, because with the clubs and stuff, you got guys, and it's tougher today. I mean, economies are tougher, gas paying. Whereas, volunteer coaching, I think it's still great. I love it. Fantastic. If you can do it and you can want to give back in the community, fantastic. But how are you addressing some of these issues with coaching that, you maybe need to supplement some help with these guys?
Yeah, and we do. It's budget driven.
Yeah.
And let a secret out to everybody: nobody's getting rich off baseball. No matter how hard some people try. It's just if you want to get rich, you're going to need to get a different job somewhere.
Sure.
So it's.
Or you've made millions playing the baseball.
And you're happy, and that's fine. But it is difficult because there are very qualified, good people. Mm-hmm. Some of them will volunteer their time, and some want to be paid for what they're doing. And
sure.
Depending on age and all kinds of different things, we have to figure out how to carve out some budget for that stuff to bring those guys in. Because I think that's part of the mix. It's an important part of the mix. Somebody that just got out, just finished their college career playing ball, just played 3 years of minor league baseball somewhere. Those guys are important because they're current on stuff. And if you get old like me and you stay out of touch with those guys, or you get out of touch, then you lose it. You lose the whole thing. It's like they're doing things today. We have rules today that we didn't have when I was a kid. when I was growing up, when I was playing college ball. We didn't have these rules.
Right.
You know, we didn't have pitch clock and pitch comm and bigger bases and, you know, all kinds of base running rules now. You know, a lot of stuff out there now on Pete Rose with him passing away the other day. But that's how people played ball.
Oh man.
You know, and now we're more mindful of injuries and stuff like that. But man, I'm telling you, back in the 70s, the late 60s, the 70s, even in the early 80s, I think it was a different game.
Only player in MLB history, Charlie Hustle, to destroy a catcher in an All-Star game.
Oh yeah, Fosse, I think, right? Yeah. It was something. But I'll tell you, on those collisions, and I was a catcher. I played a little third base, played a little left field. But as a catcher, I always thought I had the advantage. I had all the gear on, you know, I can get planted. I was waiting for him. And then as a runner, I'd come around third base thinking I had the advantage. I'm going to plow. I'm going to, you know, and that may reveal a little bit about me, but yeah, you can't obviously have the advantage with both situations. But it was fun. We had a good time with it, and most people got through it without getting hurt, you know. But every once in a while, there'd be a pretty significant injury, you know, and that's why things changed.
So what are your biggest takeaways from this past weekend with that coaches clinic, and what does it look like moving forward here?
Well, we were able to meet with Coach Hendrickson in advance and kind of talk about things, and he was really good at collecting input, and he tailored it to what we needed with the coaches that we had there. So my takeaway is that most of our coaches have a very solid base, but almost every coach has something that they think they know, but they don't know. And I'm including me.
Sure.
You know, including me. Well, I tell my players, I tell the people I get around, the kind of the way that I approach all this is challenge what you think you know, and then wake up every day trying to learn something new.
Right.
And so there's a lot of that new stuff in here, and getting it out and being able to walk through stuff. And we were on the field, and we went base to base, and we went situation to situation and talked about things. And the crowd wasn't too big, you know, so everybody got to interact, ask questions, and kind of clear the air, things they thought they knew, and they learned new things. So it was good from that perspective. Now our challenge is we got to go across the state. We've got people in, you know, Warrensburg and Moberly and Cahokia and all over.
Yeah.
And how do we reach them? So that's the next phase we're going into, is collecting feedback from the folks that attended that clinic, and then we'll develop a plan on how to do this going forward in order to reach everybody. I know Tom Rhodes was on the podcast.
Yeah, last couple weeks, yeah.
And he talked about a certification. And I think USA Baseball and I think the ACBA may have something, but they're out there. The ones that I looked at didn't have some of the things that I was looking for to cover. You know, so they're the ability to tailor things a little bit. Absolutely.
And I think that's interesting. You know, because what do you think a certification helps you guys with as far as coaching?
Well, I think it helps ensure that when somebody, you know, becomes a coach, that we have a certain level of trust in that person.
It's fair.
That they're going to teach the things that are going to help these players move on.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, another little story, side story here, but
good stories.
And you're not quite as old as I am, but you probably remember this. When in our age players, when we were kids, we'd sit down in front of a black and white TV and we'd watch the whole game. You know?
Right.
And it would be fuzzy, and we'd do all that, but the quality of the TVs weren't real good. We'd watch the whole game, and then we'd run out and play. Okay, we come back in and watch the game, and we go. You know, we did that all the time. But the kids today, you know, the kids growing up today, they don't do that.
You see a highlight, one swing.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. Mitch was talking about that on his the Hitting Zone podcast. You know, it's a great point. I love that point because he said, kids today, he said, I remember watching this game. It was David Justice, I think it was, he was talking about. Pretty sure. He says, you know, he walks off against this team, boom, last at bat, bing, bang. But he said, today we'd only see the home run because we're watching only highlight. You don't see all the frustration early because he was 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. But that last at bat, And that to me is watching the game. You go through the ups and downs of that. You see the frustration of that guy, and all of a sudden, I think that's the elation that's even more, and you're more invested in that because you just saw that guy. Man, that guy was 0 for 4, and it's not like he's a bad ball player. I mean, we're talking like David Justice. Boom, then he cranks one out. You made don't make a mistake. You had him for 4, but that 5th one, he toasted you. And I think those are things that are interesting. If you're talking stories, to me, I think it's, because as a kid, I'd walk in the house and my dad would be watching a ball game and say, "What's the score?" And he goes, "If you want to watch the game, sit down and watch it." I wouldn't get the score.
Smart man. Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you want to watch the game, watch it.
Yeah. And I mean, even the cameras back then, they were the wide angle stuff, and now they're all zoomed in. You're watching the pitcher pitch, you're watching the batter hit, but you're not seeing what the left fielder's doing, and and any of that, So it's hard to get it today.
I think that's one of the best things about going to the ballpark is seeing what's happening in the different places, how they're shifting, how they're adjusting, that you don't get on TV. I remember going to the ballpark. First time I kind of realized I was at the All-Star game. There at Busch when they first opened it, right? Mm-hmm. And Yachty, of course, was the all-star catcher. And Chase Utley was the second baseman for the Phillies at the time. Mm-hmm. And and between, the first 4 innings, I think it was, Yachty's there and whatnot, Utley would go over, he'd just kind of straddle over the bag and hold his glove right here like this. All 4 times. I never saw his glove move. It was just, I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Little things. Yeah,
little things.
Yeah.
That you don't get to see on TV.
Right.
Right. It's between innings. But it was just one of those things that you get that it's like a little gem you take away from something that you didn't get to see before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's cool. That's one of the things I like about that.
Yep.
Talk to us, initiatives, the future, we've been talking about these things, whatnot. There's quite a few initiatives. What are some of the ones, a couple that that you really think can move Legion baseball forward, Russ?
Yeah, and I think your question goes a little bit to, you were asking me about my commissioner's position.
Yes, sir.
It's evolving into something a little different than traditional. But the way that American Legion Baseball set up in Missouri years ago was they basically divided the state into 4 quadrants. Mm-hmm. And then each state, I think we had 280 some teams or something like that. Right. But each quadrant had a commissioner. So there was a state chairman, who's Tom Rhodes today, and then there were 2 commissioners in each zone. So we had zones 1, 2, 3, 4. And they basically, administrated and oversaw the implementation of the baseball program. So to make sure everybody knew the rules, everybody had the equipment they needed, and all that. What we're evolving into is an organization that does a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. An organization that highlights players, develops coaches. We have to raise funds. We try to keep our fees as low as possible. Most of our posts, our American Legion posts, provide some sort of a stipend to baseball. They always have. It's the way it's always been. It's fantastic. So we're able to keep our prices low, but we still have to, and in sort of the quest of keeping everything low, you got to figure out how to do all these other things. And that's where these new roles are emerging. Like most of the things that I was working on with Tom had to do with state level activities. The PBR Scout Day, the All-Star Game at Busch, the Senior mm-hmm. All-Star Game at Busch, and developing players, developing coaches, this Coaches
Clinic.
Now Kent Getsy grabbed the reins last year for the PBR Scout Day and did a great job.
He did fantastic.
He did a great job.
Absolutely.
And so.
But he's done that before. Kent's
yeah.
He was able to get right in with Kevin and be, it worked well.
Yeah, and Kent had done one for District 9 for years.
Yes.
And he had, 5 or 6 or so college coaches coming, but the audiences were small. We wanted to kind of expand it, and we wanted to get it going at a state level. So he was a natural guy to pick because he had the most experience with it. And so he's very knowledgeable and very proactive guy, organized. He's got all the tools you would look for, to do that. So my role is going to evolve and work on more of those overarching state level things. And I think you're going to see more committees being put together, like possibly a committee of coaches to do the coaches certifications, and maybe
that's cool.
Maybe a subcommittee of coaches to kind of oversee the rules committee, because our rules are complicated. We take OBR and we modify them with the national and senior rule book, and then we have a state rule book for each one of those that we modify it even further for what the state's doing. So there's a lot of ideas right now on how to simplify it, but we've got to fish it all out.
I gotta ask you this, and this is me. I always look at things like that, and Legion coming back into things. What are the things you have to guard against with having so many committees that are? Do you think things might get just kind of fall through the cracks? How do you keep everything in that direction, Russ?
Yeah, well, so my background is with the corporate world,
right?
So I understand this.
Ex-military, all that stuff.
Yeah, the military is a fairly structured place to be. Yeah, but structure is the key. I mean, when people get asked to do something, you got to clearly define the task. You got to give them milestones and tell them what you want and parameters to work within, and then you have to find a way to report out periodically as you're working down the timeline trying to get something done. Things were a lot looser back then with Legion Baseball. Joe would call Bill and say, "Bill, can you help me do this?" And we do that. It's more complicated now. Yeah. But we're coming out with better product too. The products that come out of that. So at the top of the pyramid, if you will, you've got Tom Rhodes, and then you've got the commissioners, then you've got the coaches, and then you've got the players and everybody else down there. So
is there still the role of the district chairman in this?
Oh yeah. I don't want to overlook the district chairman like
because they're just curious.
Yeah, right. Rick Reno over here in St. Peter's and stuff. Not every district has a chairman. Most do, but they're part of that chain as well. I mean, they're that layer right above the coaches.
And I think this is a good thing because you're seeing some of these guys because as all this is coming, Scott Blackwell, just took over as a commissioner in I think it was Zone 4, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And he's over District 10. Well, he's got a district chairman, Chris Copeland.
Right.
Kirkwood. Chris is very involved. So the guys you're seeing in some of these places are very invested in what's going on with Legion Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm impressed with is they're thinkers. Yeah. And I look at myself, because I've been accused of a lot of things the way that my mind works, that I'm kind of a lateral guy. Like I pick something up over here and I try to apply it over here, and I'm constantly doing that. Just part of how I'm made up. So I really appreciate folks that take a real serious look at baseball. They look at something, they look at rules, and they say, well, why don't we follow Misha rules? Or why don't we do so they're kind of out of the box people, but they're very thoughtful. And I'll tell you what, and they've got the smarts to do this. Like Copeland's a good example.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a super guy. I had lunch with him a couple times. Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. So those are the guys we have to get more active in everything.
And he's doing a nice job with that program, working with Kirkwood, Post 156. Those are the kind of things you love to see. Mark Lewis down there also. Mark's been around a long time. Yeah. Always has done a good job with that Jackson program. And so he's one of the commissioners. So I think it's going to be interesting, and we're hoping to get all those guys. Again, Jason Howard, we'll get that next week. We're going to have Connor Spinagle on. I'm looking forward to that conversation with Connor. There's another guy, young guy, has been part of that post, and in an area where it's kind of been hit and miss, right? I think you need that infectious, that younger guy there to kind of push through some of that, don't you?
You do. You really do. If for nothing else, just the technology.
Right.
I mean, you've got to be able to do things. You got to be able to put Twitter cards together and get them out quickly. I mean, you got to do things today that, I mean, most folks my age would say, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Right. But if you're going to promote your players, it's a different world than it was 20 years ago. You know, everybody's now, all the coaches now, no matter at what level, they're recruiting from all across the country, even outside the country.
And you gotta, I think one of the biggest things, and still, I think even misconceptions in the landscape that we have, you've got kids even playing in club baseball that won't play college. You know, and when I say club baseball, I'm including Legion in all this. They won't play in college. They're done. They go, well, no, they make a decision. They go and do what they want. Fantastic. I think it's up to, and I think this is where programs have to start identifying those kids. That doesn't mean that kid shouldn't play baseball. If he wants to play and he's a good player, get him on the squad and let him play as long as he wants to. It's still basically high school baseball. If there's the players that want to play at the collegiate level, identifying those players and getting them in that position to succeed. What do they need here? As you said, the technology, whatever, where do they need to go? What does this person need? What does this guy need? What does this guy need? It's all different because you have different level players as well. You might have a kid that on your team that's a D2. You might have a guy that's, maybe D3, or you got a JUCO path here. Maybe you got to get your grades up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Do you as a coach know that, right?
You're exactly right. Yeah, I went to an aerospace school and played baseball all the way through. And I can tell you, I have friends that are flying now for airlines, really good ball players. They had a future in baseball,
right?
But they chose a different path. They're engineers. Some of them are coaching now, different places around the country. But you've heard the phrase, enjoy the ride. And I think that's important. I mean, let's all enjoy the ride. Players want two things. They want to play. They want to play every game, every inning, okay? And they want to win. But you've got to add a third thing in there and show them that the ride's a good thing. Yeah. Let's all get on this ride and have some fun, and let's make friends, and let's, we can do this. Not everybody has to have ambitions, to be a
to
pro
get
ball
to
player.
The MLB. And if you, I think all these things look good on resumes. If you've and the qualities of leadership and the qualities of the person, what kind of teammate were you? What kind of those things? And if you have those references when you go into college, when you go into a job, when you have those types of things, those make an impact. And I don't think you can lessen those because when we look around the baseball community, it's pretty small in that respect. A lot of these guys, they've known each other for years. You know the person. I mean, I've been in this baseball community since 2004. And, a lot of the same faces, people you meet, people this, that. And then the kids that grow up that come back into the community become coaches, become part of that program, part of the different programs. I think that's where, Legion, I think maybe kind of froze in space a little bit there. And I think we're starting to break the ice off and get back into that flow.
Yeah, it used to be, if you were a Legion coach, you just sat by the phone. And I'm talking about a phone set on your desk, or a phone that was on the wall with a 20-foot cord or something. But that's all you had to do.
Yeah.
It was that easy. But we also had a reputation for if a college was looking at a Legion player, they knew what they were getting.
Right.
They knew they were getting somebody that was well-disciplined, was a good listener, kind of checked all the boxes. And if you talk to folks now and you talk to pro scouts and what they're looking for, it goes well beyond just being able to field and hit and throw.
Right.
It goes well beyond that.
Yeah.
So part of what we're trying to do with all the coaches now is to try to get back into that. So to make sure that our Legion players are distinguishable from the others because of how we act and how we approach the game and all that. So I mean, it's a big task, granted, but it's one that we're gonna dog it until we get it figured out. Because without that reputation, you're not going to help them, and you're not going to help them in their daily lives. I mean, there's lessons you learn in baseball that apply to everything. You know, and if you let people get through your program and they kind of don't get it, and you just keep them, you know, hey, that guy, he can knock the snot out of the ball, so let's keep him, even though, you know, he whatever, he's got some baggage. You know, you're not helping him. So we got to help them all the way around, like a 360 all the way around, character and all that. It's not easy, but that's what we're trying to do with the coaches.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have some fun this winter. We've got, as I said, the newer commissioners coming on. Connor Spinaga, we've had him on recently, but Jason Howard. I'm trying to get Mark Lewis to come on, man. That's like pulling teeth. I keep saying, come on, Mark, let's go.
Yeah.
And but we're trying.
You may have to do a road trip and go down there.
Well, we'll bring him on. We'll get him on the call-in link. We'll figure it out. But want to try and get Mark Lewis on. We got Kent Getzey coming up in the last week of October. Reached out to him. So we're going to get a good feel from everybody. I love this, the conversation from yourself, you know, and then all the commissioners bringing that so people can know what's going on, where's everybody at, how the program's starting to move forward.
Yeah, regionals down at
Right.
Washington. Going to do it again next year.
I love that.
I'm telling you, everybody needs to go down there. We need to take our teams down
everything
there. Else, get them on a
Yes.
bus or in a van, and let's get them down there. We need to see it.
I'm looking forward to the state tournament this year. I'm looking forward to you know what that can be. You know, building that, showcasing the players on a higher. You know, making the state tournament into a real program that elevates these players, that showcases these guys. We had a lot of talent there last year. There was good baseball. The last 2 years I've been there. Really high-level baseball, fun to watch. And so that's the goal.
Yeah, it's with a program as large as ours, you got kind of a bell curve in there, you know, and we're trying to narrow it up so that more of the players will fit that characterization. You
Absolutely.
know. But it's something we just have to work at. All of our teams are competitive. I mean, it's hard to go to a Legion game and not see a good play, not see a good competitive game. But there are programs like Washington, Ellsbury, and you know Warrensburg out there. You know, and I could keep going on and on. I don't want to leave people out, but really good programs. They attract good quality people, good ball players, and they put on a good show. And it's fun to watch. And you know, you go out there and you know, go down to Washington. We need to build it up for next year.
Absolutely.
Go down to Washington, get a hot dog and a drink, and sit in the stands like old
Enjoy
days.
some baseball.
Enjoy the baseball game.
And it's a great park.
It is.
Rosnick Park's a great park to watch baseball. Been there many a time. So, folks, Russ Klicker, state commissioner for Missouri American Legion Baseball. If you got any questions about these things, you can go to the website. If you have a question about Legion Baseball, get to the website. All the contact information is there. You can reach out to these guys. All their information is there to reach out if you have questions. And you're open to that, aren't you, Russ?
Absolutely, yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do that. MissouriAmericanLegionBaseball.org. Go check it out. Learn more. There's all kinds of information there on the website, learning about what Missouri American Legion Baseball is all about. Good stuff, articles. Go check it out. Sign up, too, for, Show Me Legion. And that is the e-letter. Goes directly to your inbox. Sign up for it. Check it out. We had some good articles, good information. It was a lot of fun information that was out there with the Coaches Clinic, with Sheldon Dean. We hope to get a lot more featuring all these things. So stuff that you want to keep up, don't miss it. Russ was talking about fundraising and what they're having to do at the state level. Right now, there is a 50-50 raffle going on for the Centennial celebration. Want to do some fun things this year, right? Yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Centennial 50-50 raffle. Go buy a ticket. Go to the website right there. It's right on the homepage. You click that. Go buy your raffle tickets. You got a chance to win some cash.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. And you know, I got a plug for you.
Okay.
I got to help you a little bit here. But this guy's doing Youth Baseball Midwest, YBM, a lot of Red Earth stuff, baseball. The people that you're having on here are some of the best in the state. except me. I don't know how I got in
No,
there.
no, that's
but
not
anyway.
true. That's not true.
But
I
yeah,
think
go
you work
ahead.
as hard as anybody, Russ, and what you've done, honestly, I mean, with the things that you've put in play and whatnot, it's been very good. It's been good for, Missouri American Legion Baseball. Your state commissioners, you guys everybody's working hard. You can't, nobody, this is what it's about. It's about the community, and it's about helping the kids, right? That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, yeah.
That's all it's about.
Yep.
And that's why, and with Missouri American Legion Baseball, it is a 501c3. Nobody goes out and, trying to hawk and make money. So we appreciate, right, the fact that folks get involved. It's not just asking for money. It's a 50-50 raffle. You got a shot to win some cash.
Yeah.
Everybody could use a little bit of their pocketbook, right? Especially now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I was just getting at, there's a lot more out there. If you dig in and look at some of the podcasts, you're going to see a lot of different high school stuff. The people that come in here and sit with Brian are some of the best in the state. And it's good stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of our goals. That's why we love having this Legion baseball talk show here. So Legion's a great program, has been, 100 years, folks. It's the oldest club baseball in the country. Yeah. And it deserves its place still in the community. And I think that's very important. I really do.
Yep.
So, this is it. We try to be comprehensive, and bring information for people so they can learn. That's why, Russ, a great resource for Missouri American Legion Baseball, what he's doing. That's what this is about. Getting people information so they understand what's going on around them. It's good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Please, if you like what we do, hit the subscribe button down there. Hit the dinger next to it. May not get you a home run, but it'll get you notifications for upcoming episodes such as this, right? And some would say that is a home run. Right, Drew? Ooh, I like it. A grand salami.
Thank you.
So please do that while we're here. We thank you. We appreciate it. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, give the pitchers some advice.
Throw strikes.
I like it. Hitters, hit them where they ain't. We'll see y'all next time.